bowling, billiards, and more, we took a look at what Thunder's Game Room has to offer.
The Memorial Union's art gallery featured a nationally acclaimed portrait painter, showcasing several art pieces.
We take an inside look at the Farm to Fashion show and the process that locally grown wool takes to become yarn. Good evening and welcome to the Bison Information Network. I'm Malik Mitchell.
And I'm Lydia Lafine. We have a lot to cover in today's newscast, so you don't want to go away.
Thunder's Game Room is located in the lower level in the Memorial Union.
You might have seen some activities down there, but not everybody knows all that the game room has to offer. Reporter Dash Menzel has more on this story.
On the NDSU campus, incoming freshmen are always trying to find things to do, but some of them don't know about Thunder's Game Room. Located in the basement of the Memorial Union, Thunder's Game Room offers plenty of fun activities for your free time. I was able to talk to Angelica Warren, an employee of Thunder's Game Room, about the activities and events that they offer.
They have bowling alleys, billiard tables, we have ping pong, we have some air hockey, as well as a foosball table down here.
On Saturday night during the interview, an event called Campus Live was going on. Angelica told me more about what Campus Live has to offer for students.
Campus Live is paid for by the Memorial Union. They kind of rent out this space. It's for free bowling, billiards, anything you want to do down here, all for NDSU students. Campus Live is from 9:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. every Friday and Saturday night.
If you're not in the mood to play late at night, Thunder's Game Room also offers additional rates all the time.
On the weekend, we have weekend madness rates, so it's $4 for a pool table as well as $7 for bowling for your entire group. If you're an avid bowler though and you want to play during the week, we have what's called a semester pass. You can have it for fall and spring semester if you like, but you have to reapply. It is $60 for the semester pass and it's $75 for an area pass, which includes anything we have down here in the Memorial Union. If you want to make your own reservation, you can go to the NDSU Memorial Union website under Thunder's Game Room. They have reservations that you can have for private parties, fraternities and sororities, or even if you're a department, you can make a reservation and just come down here and hang out.
Reporting from the Thunder Game Room, I'm Dash Menzel.
On Tuesday, the sold-out reception was held in the Memorial Union Art Gallery, featuring the work of Rose Franson.
The event held several art pieces from the painter. Reporter Jacob Morgan has more on this story.
The event's sold-out reception opened on Tuesday in the Memorial Union Gallery. This event hosted a conversation about entrepreneurship and making a living in the arts. NDSU art professor Kimball Bromley invited Rose Franson, a nationally acclaimed portrait painter, to the Memorial Union to showcase her work.
Several years ago, I had an exhibition of my own down in Muscatine, Iowa, and in the same gallery that I was showing, there's another gallery right next to it, and Rose had a show there, and she was showing works that she did during the state fair in Iowa. She did a whole bunch of portraits of people at the state fair, and I thought it was a fantastic show, and I thought, I really need to contact her to get her up here because she's such a good painter, and I thought she'd be a good visiting artist for her students. So I invited her, and she said yes, and the rest is history.
Franson has been painting since she was 20 years old. However, she isn't your typical portrait painter. She likes to give meaning to the characters that she paints.
I guess I'm a representational artist. You can recognize some of the objects in my paintings. I like to mess around with that, like there's a little bit of surrealism or a little bit of objects that don't make as much sense in the paintings mixed with them right away. They're not always understood on your first glance. So I guess I'm an artist who puts things in that you can see, and then I like to mess it around with a little bit, just a little bit.
The current artwork displayed in the Union falls under a common theme that Rose has created. She takes the idea of mixing modern art with former art styles throughout history.
So the two themes that you kind of have in this show, but there's sort of a marriage between them, is putting human beings, one of them is mixing them with optical illusions, and the other one is putting people, like three-dimensional people, in two-dimensional worlds from the past in our culture, like paintings, how artists depicted the people of their time in the past.
Stop by the art gallery on the second floor of the Memorial Union just above the bookstore to take a look for yourself. Rose's collection is available until Friday, October 14th. Reporting for Bison Information Network, I'm Jacob Morgan.
Yesterday, the Farm to Fashion event was held to showcase the North Dakota fiber industry.
Reporter Coy Hartle got a chance to visit the event to see what it's all about.
Yesterday, the Department of Apparel, Merchandising, Interior Design, and Hospitality Management hosted the Farm to Fashion Fair at the Family Life Center. The event was open to students, faculty, and the public, and showcased wool from locally raised sheep and how it connects to the fiber industry in North Dakota. The fair contained multiple informational booths alongside demonstrations on wool processing, cleaning, knitting, and spinning.
So what I'm doing is I'm showing how yarn is made. This wool that I'm working with is alpaca and wool blended. And the technology to create yarn is the same whether it's a big commercial operation or it's someone in the steppes of Mongolia. All it is twisting the fibers.
By twisting the fibers with her spinning wheel operated by foot pedals, Jeannie is able to convert the wool to yarn.
Eventually, I'll fill this bobbin and I'll combine it with some other colors that I've been working with, and it'll create this yarn.
In addition to doing demonstrations, Jeannie also gives lessons on the process and is involved with a local group of women who spin yarn together.
I do love it. It's an awesome thing. It's very relaxing.
Although the Farm to Fashion Fair was just a one-day event, the department also has the Emily Reynolds Historic Costume Collection open for students to visit on weekdays from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. in the Family Life Center. From Bison Information Network, I'm Coy Hart.
For the rest of the homecoming week, events like homecoming show and coronation, President's Cook's inauguration, and the parade will all take place in the next few days. Make sure you check the MyNDSU events calendar for more.
From Finland to Florida, keep an eye out in the Memorial Union for representatives from the Study Abroad services. As deadlines approach, it's not too late to find a bunch of information regarding upcoming study abroad trips through the Assistant Director, Tanya Kramer. If you have questions, you can look for a Global Grounds booth inside Renaissance Hall on October 5th and 6th.
Slackline Fridays will begin this Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. at the Wellness Center. Slacklining is a sport balancing on a rope that is fixed above the ground. No experience is required. Staff will also be there to get you started. The Wellness Center will host Slackline Fridays once a month for the rest of the semester.
Kept awake by the fun homecoming activities going on this week? The Residence Hall Association is hosting a blacklight dodgeball competition in Benson Bunker Fieldhouse. From 8 to 11 tomorrow evening, cheer on your classmates as they duke it out while decked out in various glow-in-the-dark accessories. Coming up next, Rico Aladdin will give you his weekly professional lunch with a special guest. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Now it's the time to talk about my best part, my favorite part, which is talking about the challenges, because how's your position now giving you an opportunity to be kind to others?
Yes, yes, and it's something that I value very much because even when we talked about how I find purpose in my work, a lot of it is through what I can do for others, and those results don't happen without having some compassion for others and having a goal of impacting other people positively. So I think that I'm able to show my kindness to many people in a variety of ways, but it starts with the staff that I get to be a part of at West Fargo Events. And I'm appreciative of them and their work every single day, and nothing that we've talked about within this interview today could be possible without other people helping along the way. It's never about achievement of one person, it's about achievement for the collective, whether it's our team at West Fargo Events, our community, or the broader region, or just society in general. Everything that you do in life should be about helping other people, especially your family.
Wonderful, wonderful. Mike, it has been a pleasure to hear and learn about your experience. I am so glad that you were able to come onto the show today and share with me and with the students and with everyone who will be watching this, and I'm sure they will get a lot from our conversation. Thank you so much for being here today. So any last word any advice you have for the students?
Well, first off, I'd like to say thank you for your time, and to the students, I'd encourage them to take my father's advice. Keep your eyes and ears open and your mouth shut. You don't need to prove what you know. You need to find a way to contribute. And I would love to chat with anybody about that anytime. I'm an open book, and so is our team at West Fargo Events. And if there's people that we can help along the way, we'd love to do that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you again for being here today. And so now, this is the time that I tell you, it's up to you to make today a great day. Have a great day.
Yesterday, the Fargo School Board approved employee retention bonuses. These bonuses included $1,500 each, given out in 2 payments of $750. The bonuses go to school employees with a regular and permanent work schedule. That covers certified teachers, administrators, and professional support staff.
Have an interest in cars, or just need a reason to go out and enjoy the fall weather? Taking place this Friday to Sunday, Drifttoberfest will begin at Interstate Raceway. Located in Glendon, Minnesota, this family-friendly event features non-stop fun as you have the potential to do anything from ride-alongs to races. The gates open tomorrow at 8 a.m. and close October 2nd.
On Sunday at approximately 5 a.m., an 18-year-old driver from Fargo was rushed to the hospital after striking 2 separate trees during a DUI incident. Miguel Rendon was traveling northbound of 32nd Street south in Fargo while he failed to navigate a slight turn and drove off the roadway. His vehicle then collided with a small tree and entered a yard where it struck a larger tree. Rendon was not wearing a seatbelt and suffered serious injuries in the crash. He was taken to Fargo Essentia Health Hospital and later was charged with a DUI.
This Saturday, do not forget to look up with the FM Astronomy Club. To celebrate International Observe the Moon Night, the club is partnering with the Fargo Public Library to encourage observation, appreciation, and understanding of our moon. All ages are invited to this free event for moon-related crafts and other themed activities. No pre-registration is required. When we come back, Logan has your weekly Bison Sports Report. Stay tuned.
Founded in 1985, the Missouri Valley Football Conference has established a tradition of FCS football excellence. Competing at the highest level of NCAA Division I, student athletes at its 10 institutions demonstrate character, passion, and integrity as they grow as a student, an athlete, and a citizen. The Missouri Valley Football Conference, where leaders are shaped and champions are forged.
One kid, one mentor, plus one moment can unlock limitless potential. 30,000 youth are waiting. Be there for one of them. Become a big today.
At NDSU, we're going to teach you about how to work with people. We're going to teach you about relationships with people and how to manage those relationships successfully, whether that's at work, whether that's at home. We have majors in agricultural communication, strategic communication, journalism, and management communication. We have students who have graduated who are doing all kinds of different things, everything from marketing to writing content to development to career coaching. We also, of course, have people doing more traditional things like news reporter or working for TV stations. The faculty members in our department advise undergraduate students. We think that it's important for faculty to develop relationships with our undergrads. We have an advisory board, and that consists of people in the community who are like local business people, and we try to make connections with those people so that literally we know the person that they should talk to about a job. You can't be in the world if you can't communicate. My recommendation is that you take some communication classes at the very least if you can. Even better, do a major in communication.
The Bison will return to the Dakotas after playing in Arizona as they started conference play against South Dakota. Playing at the Dakota Dome, both offenses got off to a slow start as it would take the Bison a quarter to get points on the board. The Bison would answer a Coyotes field goal with one of their own as Griffin Crosa would convert a 26-yard field goal. The Bison would get great starting position for their next drive as the defense would make a big play, with Dawson Weber forcing a fumble that would be recovered by Michael Tutsi deep in South Dakota territory. The offense made the most of the forced turnover as they would reach pay dirt with Kobe Johnson scoring on a 2-yard run. But the defense wasn't done yet as Luke Wirtz would intercept a Carson Camp pass, giving the Bison defense its second takeaway of the day. The Bison would open the second half down 10-17 before Cam Miller would strike by leading a 75-yard drive, capped off with a 13-yard scramble into the end zone to tie up the game. They would continue their point onslaught with their next drive as they seared through the Coyotes defense with an 84-yard drive, led by big runs from Hunter Lipke and ending with Lipke punching it up the middle from 2 yards out. The fourth quarter would be all Bison, with the defense getting the spotlight once again as Dawson Weber would force yet another fumble on the day, with Dom Jones scooping it up for the Bison. The offense would take over and proceed to march swiftly down the field. Hunter Lipke would get his name called once again on the Bison's last meaningful drive, punching it in from 3 yards out. But the defense wasn't done with their big day yet, as Logan Kopp would pick off Carson Camp to ice the game. The Bison would go on to record their first win in Missouri Valley Conference play with a final score of 34-17. With a record of 3-1, the Bison will return home this weekend to host Youngstown State. The game can be watched on ABC North Dakota, ESPN+, or the Bison Radio Network. The women's soccer team would head on the road this weekend as they faced both Denver and Omaha. On Friday night, the Bison would be on the road to face off against Denver, and it was a quiet showing for the Bison, as Olivia Watson and Peyton Jo Armijo would be the lone players with shots on goal, with both recording one each. The team would also receive a yellow card halfway through the game before being handed a 0-2 loss. They had no time to dwell on the loss as they headed to Nebraska Sunday to take on Omaha. Kelsey Callia would record her second goal of the season, with the assist coming from Paige goalie. But despite this, they would drop this game as well, losing 1-2. The Bison are now 4-5-3. They return home with their next games coming against St. Thomas tomorrow at 6 and Western Illinois on Sunday at 1. The volleyball team was busy this past week as they would play 3 games in a 6-day stretch. On Thursday, they would hit the road to take on St. Thomas, who they would defeat in a clean sweep, taking all 3 sets in a dominant performance. Allie Hinsey would lead the way with 14 kills and 14 digs. Michelle Glover would stack on another 10 kills with 5 digs. Sarah Tanchin contributed 9 kills and 8 digs. On Saturday, they would travel to face off against Western Illinois. They would record yet another clean sweep, dominating all 3 sets. Allie Hinsey once again led the Bison with 16 kills, 13 digs, and 2 solo blocks. Sarah Tanchin would add 14 kills with 9 digs, and Kelly Johnson boosted the Bison with 39 assists and 17 digs. On Tuesday, the Bison would face off against the 13-1 South Dakota Coyotes. The Bison would have a nail-biter, dropping the first set before taking the second and third sets. They would lose the fourth in a close one, but they would rally to steal the fifth set and remain undefeated in conference play. Sarah Tanchin would record a career high with 26 kills to go with 11 digs. Michelle Glover added another 18 kills to go with 3 blocks, and Kelly Johnson contributed 55 assists along with 10 digs. With this victory, the Bison stand alone atop the conference at 3-0 in conference play, boosted by a 3-game win streak. They are now 10-5. The Bison will have little time to rest as they host Oral Roberts tonight at 7 and Kansas City on Saturday at 10 a.m. The men's golf team played earlier this week. The Bison would take first out of 14 teams at the Zach Johnson Invitational. Ian Simonek led the Bison as he would dominate the tournament, finishing in a tie for second at 6 under par. Nate DeZiel was right behind him, as DeZiel would have a strong second and third round to boost him to a 5th place tie finish at 5 under par. Brock Winter recorded 6 birdies in the third round, helping him slot in at 8th overall at 4 under par. The Bison will have several weeks off as they are slated to play in the Paintbrush Invitational on October 17th in Denver, Colorado. That's all for the Bison Sports Report. Up next, Nick Whistler with your weekly weather outlook. Don't go away.
No kid deserves to go hungry, but try as they might, not every family can afford to put food on the table every day. That's why the Great Plains Food Bank and their partner agencies work every day to bring food to our hungry neighbors. Every dollar donated can provide 4 meals for those in need. Go to GreatPlainsFoodBank.org and donate today, so no kid in North Dakota ever has to go hungry.
My name is Becky Parker, and I'm a news anchor at WDAY-TV. I graduated from NDSU in 2010 with a degree in journalism, broadcasting, and mass communication technologies, and then I had an emphasis on broadcasting. Principles of broadcast production and advanced broadcast production. Those were favorites because they were the most relevant for career experience. You're calling people for interviews, you're writing an article. It doesn't just feel like an assignment, it's like actually doing it. I was the news director for the first full semester of the Bison Information Network. The BIN advisor here was very much invested in me to actually have a career in broadcasting. He helped me get my internship and my first job. The people in NDSU's Department of Communication are really interested and helpful in getting students the connections that they need in order to get a job beyond school.
The NDSU Bookstore, where every true fan and alum goes to get their pride on. Gear up with a variety of high-quality t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and more. Made by top-of-the-line brands like Under Armour, Nike, and CI Sport to help you show off your Bison pride. The NDSU Bookstore has everything you need in your two favorite colors, green and gold.
Good evening and welcome back to the Bison Information Network. I'm Nick Whistler and we will take a look at the upcoming week to see what we should expect for our forecast. Starting tomorrow, we can expect temperatures to see a low of 50 degrees with it climbing to a high of 75 throughout the day with mostly clear skies. Saturday, we'll see a high of 70 degrees and a low of 51 as we get later into the night. With partial cloud coverage all day, it should be perfect for a Bison game day. Now Sunday is going to be mostly cloudy throughout the day, but temperatures will stay up as our low comes in at 56 and should push up to around the 70-degree mark. To kick off the work week, we will have mostly cloudy skies with temperatures reaching into 70 degrees. By nightfall, we will drop down to a low of 50 degrees with light winds blowing at around 7 miles an hour. Coming down the line here on Tuesday, we may have some cloud coverage, but it should be a relatively sunny day with highs nearing 70 degrees. Now on Wednesday, we are going to see about a 10-degree drop in our highs and a 15-degree drop in our lows, And this will stay relatively consistent for Thursday and throughout the remainder of the week, with temperatures hovering near the upper 50s. And that's all we have for you this week. Be sure to follow Bison Information Network on social media to stay up to date with the latest on campus news. We thank you for joining us this evening and have a great night.